Show me out.
What up, gang? What up, gang?
Again,
Jax, what
this
up?
roll with this bedpost right now.
Who did that? One up, Tammy. I think
Hey,
she did
girl.
the bonnet confessions or something like that.
I need a haircut. Can I get a
Bradshaw,
haircut?
Bud, J Bug, what up?
I am. I
Hank
think I'm gonna do it.
Wilson,
I
679.
think I can do it tomorrow. A lot going
Chanel
on. My
Cuts,
car was down. I
it's
got a lot. Look,
official.
I got a lot going on right now. I want to go to Dubai though.
All right, so the night is going down. True or false? This is the question for tonight, gang. True or false? Men have made women more independent. This is I mean this is a good conversation. This is definitely good conversation. You know what I mean? It definitely needs to be had because the main topic of discussion nowadays, just the independent woman. You know what I mean? Oh man. Keith Robinson, get this guy out of here, man.
True.
Go Eagles. You know what I mean? Listen, hey Keith, them Cowboys wasn't around. Just know that. Y'all had popcorn. You know what I mean? Dak Prescott had popcorn watching the game like the rest of us. Just know that. Watching the Super Bowl. Darkest Nights, 1449, what up? QB, Will to chill, what up? Topic of discussion. True or false? Men have made women more independent. They trying to come for us, fellas. They trying to come for us. I already know what time it is. We already know how this finna go. That's right, Bradshaw. Eagles. You heard? You hear that, Keith Robinson? Eagles. You know what I'm saying? Keith, y'all got to come down and do a show during the Roots picnic or something like that, man. Get Reg down here. You know what I mean?
Jello.
You know what I mean? We get Che down here. You know what I mean? Get Che, you, Reg, man, do something, man. Roots picnic weekend. That'd be the move. Joe Mo, what up, though? Darkest Nights. What's happening? That's what hey Joe Mo, appreciate you, bro. You know what I mean? You see the question is already a trigger, Joe.
That's their problem. Everything
already
is
a trigger right there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They triggering this. You know what I mean? All right, so let's start off our intro. You know what I mean? Let's start off our intro. You know what I mean? Warming up the room just a little something. Let's warm it up with our intro for anybody that's new. You know what I mean? To the live. You know, Nick, what's happening? All right, so for anybody that's new to the live, my name is Jamal and my wife, Cherie, right there. And we've been together for 13 years now. Y'all got to clap it up for 13 years. Can I get some type of love for the 13 years of rocking out? I mean, we ain't even know we was going to get to this point. I mean, it's a blessing. If anybody ever been married or is married currently, it's definitely a challenge to blend two people and make them one. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a challenge. But either way, we've been married for 13 years. I appreciate that. Long live y'all. We've been married for 13 years. And throughout this process, we had like just major challenges, you know what I'm saying, throughout the process. It ain't been nothing sweet about it, you know what I mean? And we've had some amazing times, of course. But, we just had challenges. And throughout the process, we end up having a time frame, a year where it was just like a really good year. And it just so happened to be the time of COVID when we had the shutdowns and we was just on point. So like since then, we've been just trying to, keep whatever that formula was kind of moving. So we just do different things. One of them is this live, that we can have open discussions about relationship talks and things like that. We don't claim to be, we don't claim to have all the answers. We don't claim to have a perfect situation ourselves, but it's just a platform for all of us, you know what I mean, to to have some dialogue, because it's not just about marriage. It's about relationships. It's about, dating. You know what I mean? It's about all of those things. And, just in our community, it's a challenge for us to stay together. So we just had these dialogues so we could just, get on the same accord or even gain some understanding. So each week we have a different topic of discussion, and Cherie puts the topics of discussion up on her page and on our stories, and we allow you guys to pretty much pick what discussion you want to talk about. So this week on our discussion that you guys picked, the topic is true or false. Men have made women more independent. All right. And as y'all know, a couple rules: make all the comments you want inside the comment section. If you want to ask a question that we all can answer, you can hit that little question comment down at the bottom. Or if you want to tap in and you want to just get something off your chest or express something, or just share with us something you've been through, or just share something in comment that we've been talking about, you can request to join the live too. You know what I mean? Then we can kind of, as opposed to you having to type everything, you could just speak on it. Marriage is the second hardest thing next to motherhood. Yes, marriage is absolutely, I don't even know if it's the second or if it's the first, you know what I mean?
I know.
But yeah, it's definitely hard. I agree with that. All right, so we're gonna get into it, gang. We're gonna get into it. So the question: true or false? Men have made women be more independent. So Cherie, you know what I mean? You tap in and you just tell us how you feel about that question and your perspective on it.
I think it's true.
Okay.
The reason why I do think it's true is because the whole ordeal with letting the man lead, and women have let men lead for so long, and all a lot of men have been doing was fuck up. So now it made them lose confidence in their relationships and feeling more stable in their relationships. And it's like, okay, now, well, I gotta make sure, I got all my shit together now. I can't just depend on you. I can't depend on you to do everything, because you dropped the ball time and time and time again. So it had forced women to be that, as y'all call it, alpha male. We don't want to be, but it's like, if things is being left up to the man who's supposed to be the provider and the head and the face of the relationship, it don't work out like that. We still always have to manage to end up stepping somewhere somehow.
Okay.
Oh, the hate is real.
All right. That's right.
False, true. Listen, you entitled. You see that little camera at the bottom with the plus sign? You entitled to request to join this live and speak your piece. This is my piece, and that goes for anybody. Okay.
For sure. We respect that. We respect how you feel, and you know what I mean. And I see where you're coming from. Like, it's we have had times where it's been challenges inside the household. You know what I mean, and women have had to hold it down, because at the end of the day, especially when you have children, you know what I mean, you have to make sure those children, are taken care of, this, and the third. So you definitely have some valid points. Somebody has to hold it down, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, because especially when you had children, it's like, they didn't ask to be here, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. I hate to use that term, but I mean, it's real, you know what I mean, but they didn't ask to be here. And at the end of the day, they have to be taken care of regardless of how a relationship goes down. So, all right, you do have, some valid points in there.
Where if it don't, leave it alone. It's my opinion on most or some relationships, because it's not everybody. Everybody don't have to go through that, but a lot of relationships, just in general, that's why women are so strong-willed and like want to be independent and handle things on their own and figure it out on their own, because the men that they're with is like, okay, he said he got it. All right, well, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months, and then we still at the same situation. So that's my opinion.
Okay. All right, solid. All right, so let me give my opinion on it. True or false? Have women have true or false?
Oh
Have,
shit!
I
I
guess
done
men
swiped it in
made
again.
women did it again. Have men, excuse me, made women more independent. All right, so I'll say no. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna say no because like just by looking at like my family history, I seen like the time where women had to pick up the slack because of things that was going on in households. You know what I mean? But it was for different reasons. It was right around the time like my great grandmom is like the last of the women that, not all the women, but the last of that the type of woman that depended on her husband, you know what I mean, which was my great granddad, and didn't have to work. You know what I mean? My great grandmother, I'm not sure if she worked a day in her life. I'll get more information, but as far as I know, she didn't have to work. She held down the household. She nurtured and took care of the children. And my great grandfather, he worked hard, you know what I mean, for his family. But it was around, it was time frames. It was like, it was time frames where it was like an attack on the black family. Like we've had, you know what I mean, great family situations. We've had it to where as though we have had communities, Black Wall Street, where, you know what I mean, black men held it down, you know what I mean, when we were just segregated and we had the ability to create our own stores. We, you know, use trades to build houses. We went to school, got dentistry, you know, doctors. We had entrepreneurs all in one community, and our community was popping. Our community blew up. We was, you know, and what they would consider like, you know what I mean, Maybachs and whatnot back then. You know, we had mansions, you know what I mean? We even had, some people even had private jets. And I'm talking about that was, you know, that was way back. You know what I mean? But that was, again, around the time of my great grandmom and even before her, great grandma, you know what I mean? But then, like, once they saw that the black family, the black household with the man and the woman together, we was such a great team. That's when they realized that one of the best things they can do is to separate us. You know what I mean? And so that's where you have, you know what I mean, literally like systems, you know what I mean, that was put in place to break down our household. So if you have if you have a, you know, a pack, even if it's, let's just say a lion pack, if you take the men out, you know what I mean, the male lions, it's going to be a detriment, and it's going to leave that pack with the women in there and just the children. It's going to leave them open to threats, open to, you know, they're not going to be as secure in how they moving. And so when they realized that, they was like, all right, cool. All right, we see it, boom. So that's when, that's one of the points where it was an attack on the family. So when you talk about, you know what I mean, factories closing down, firing all of the men, you know what I mean, early on. My grandfather, he was like he was like a top carpenter in Philadelphia, you know what I mean? But you add drugs in the community, you add liquor stores, you know what I mean? And you take away people's opportunity to work, you know, now you got a stressful situation. And so all of that weight that was on men, you know, to provide, because the women was holding it down in the household. All right, cool. The women doing their job. And now it's like, all right, we're going to put that pressure on men. And it cracked a lot of men. It was really tough on a lot of men that didn't have job opportunities, this, that, and the third. Then you add in, you know what I mean, trying to provide for your family. Then you're getting involved in crime and things like that. It took a lot of us out of the household, you know what I mean? And on top of that, once they started to add welfare, you know what I mean, welfare was one of them things that started to make the presence of a man, like it started to make to where it's like I don't even need you around, because if you're around, I may not get my benefits. So basically, black women was incentivized, like black women were given rewards. Black women were getting paid to not have black men around. And so that's where the quote unquote independence came in. You know what I mean? That's where a lot of times where the quote unquote, like, you know, alpha woman, as some of y'all use it, came in. You know what I mean? And around that time, that really made a black man a liability. So we lost the understanding of how valuable a black man was in the household. But now, after generations of saying a black man not in the household, we starting to see some of the remnants. We starting to see, you know, a lot of the, you know, even more crime. We starting to see even more lawlessness. We starting to see more killing. We starting to see more our youth, young black men, you know, lost out here without the guidance of men. And a lot of shit is like really upside down. We seeing the highest murder rates and all of that because black men aren't in the household.
Speaking of
But for
present
so
time.
long, you know what I mean? No, I'm just saying that but what I'm saying is it's a accumulation of things. I'm bringing us back up to where we at. I'm bringing us, you know, bringing us up. So it wasn't just black men that didn't want to care for their households is what I'm trying to say. We've always cared for our children and always cared for our women. And they've seen that, and we've thrived and done so much better when we were all together. But once they saw that, they literally, you know what I mean, created it to strip us down. So they incentivized women to ultimately turn men away. And that's what I see now. I see a lot of women that really have like two generations of just turning men away, of pushing them out the household to the point where it's like, I really don't need them. I don't see any value in them, and I'm pushing them out. So I don't want to, I can't say it was men, you know what I mean, that forced women to be independent. I would say it was really like, you know what I mean, it was a form of warfare with our household. And, you know, we were forced, you know what I'm saying, into bad situations, and they incentivized women to be independent and to take over. You know what I mean? And leave men out. So that's, you know what I mean? She said, more speaking present time. So in present time, I still feel like that's false, because there's a lot of, you know what I mean? You got to, this is the thing too. In present time, there's a lot of men that do love women. You married, you know what I mean? Cherie's married. There's a lot of men. My young boy just proposed to his girlfriend. We love our black women. You know what I mean? So nobody's trying to force black women to be independent. I don't agree with that. I think now black women have been so used to their independence, they don't know how to be interdependent. They don't know how to conform to a household with a man, because they've been so independent or alone for so long. That's anybody. If I was just single for a long time, it would take me some time to get adjusted to having somebody into my life. So even nowadays, no, I don't think men are pushing women to be independent. Men want black women, but the black woman that we have now is different. The black woman that we have now is at times, with that independence, is not as attractive to a black man. So the value of a black woman to a black man has went down because of this so-called independence, you know what I mean? And not being able to be, you know, cooperative and be in a partnership with a black man. That's what would make a black man not to want to be with a woman.
I mean,
A
I
black woman.
agree to an extent, but I feel like because our grandmothers and ancestors and all of that ain't
nobody crying though.
guys are definitely turned into the girls these days. They want to do the selfies and all of that. It just like the world has very turned. But let me stay on topic. I think that like my great grandma, she like, you know, like she didn't have a job and all of that, but her husband was a cheater. And I think she always had like, you know, if I had money and if I did this, like I would have left him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but whereas today's woman, we can get up and go get a job, and we can get up and go do stuff. You know what I mean? So we don't have to, because like it's a partnership. So back in the day, it like the roles were like switched a little bit, because you do have, like my aunt, for example, she was a stay-at-home. I mean, her husband was a stay-at-home husband, and she went to work. Their dynamic worked for them. You know what I mean? Because that's how their dynamic worked. I don't think less of my uncle because he was a stay-at-home. Like he did the cooking, he did the cleaning. You know what I mean? And like that would work for their household. But to say that men hasn't forced us to be independent, I think is, I mean, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I feel like even with the welfare and child support, those are designed for women because men, when they don't get their way, quote unquote, and like a woman talk back because we are tired of either the late, because you can lose your job, but we can help you get another job, or you can fall down, but we can help you get back up. You know what I'm saying? But it's something. And I feel like men are like intimidated by people that can, well, like women that can help them, you know, in a sense, because yeah, the even it's probably a struggle for my husband because I'm so like quote unquote independent. It was very hard for me to kind of to let go. I mean, I said that before, but it was very hard for me to let go. Like it was hard, you know, because when you so used to doing stuff yourself, it's kind of hard to incorporate somebody, or it's kind of hard to trust that person can handle things how you handle. And like for me, I think I'm like the smartest person in the room sometimes. So it's like I'm talking about like in the sense of like, you know,
these lesbians are stronger these days.
All she gotta do is bid on her.
That's us.
We definitely get on
this live, Niche.
You still get cheated on. Yeah, women still get cheated on these days, and that's why we don't shut the hell up. You can't demand us to sleep with you.
I want to come in.
I'm crying.
No, come in. No, you got
I'm not in a good
space. No. Come right in.
I don't want my energy. It's bad energy. I'm telling you.
Bring it.
It's bad.
It is what it is.
It's not going to be good. It's going to be bad.
Bringing the bad juju. Come on.
Yeah. Listen.
Right.
These niggas.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Tell you why.
For the pain.
Know what you?
Listen, I mean, so listen. This the question, and Bradshaw, she breaking it down, and you know what I mean in terms of if men has forced women to be more independent. And so Bradshaw is saying she feels like, you know what I mean, we have forced women to be more independent. And not only that, for being independent so long, it's hard, you know what I mean, at times for her to get adjusted, you know what I mean, even within her marriage.
No.
So go ahead, Bradshaw.
I mean, you kind of summed it up because that's just how I feel. I just feel like even I was saying about when you went about the welfare and the child support, those was designed to help women because men wasn't holding up to their end of the bargain, regardless of the fact because here's the thing, if you get on welfare and you get cash from them, they're taking the man to child support, no matter it, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know what I'm saying? Like those are designed for women. When you try to go to child support or custody, those are designed for women. You know what I mean? And it's also it is some great dads out here, and some women use that to their leisure. You know, but that independence, because like when you go back to like force us to be independent, it kind of did because we wasn't no longer sitting around waiting for a man to help us out.
Mm-hmm.
The more independent we become, I think the more feminine they become.
Yeah, the more cartoonic.
I disagree.
The stronger we become, the more feminine them jokers become. Just because I'm strong don't mean I need you to be a girl.
No, I completely disagree. In fact, I'm gonna tell you this the truth. It not only is that not true, you got to realize if that's true, that means that since we pretty much discussed that it went back to our great grandmoms was like the last of the women that didn't have to work. So that means we had about 2 generations.
That's the shit. Because my mom.
How was your great grandma? Did your great grandma have to work?
My grandmom didn't. My grandmom didn't, but my mother did. Her daughter did, which is my mother.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's what we talking about. Like for me, it was my great grandma. You know what I mean? That didn't have to work. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, if it goes,
Your grandma worked?
My grandma worked. My grandma worked, but my great grandma didn't.
My grandma never had a job.
That's what I'm saying. Listen.
She died.
Okay.
She never had a job. She never had a license. She never drove a day in her life.
Yeah, same thing with my great grandma.
She got on the plane, but twice, and that's when her brothers died because they were originally from Tennessee. So she got on a plane like in her 70s.
Yes. So what we saying is black men have always been there to support black women. We've been there. We had the structure in the household. What I'm saying is they broke that shit down because they saw how it benefited us. In those days, when it was a mom and when granddad or great grandfather was with grandmom, great grandmom, they was going to school, they was going to college, or they was getting good jobs. You know what I mean? That was holding down their families. Everybody was productive. It was productive. So what I'm saying now is
good job.
We had
they did a level on us.
Listen, we got some stuff to learn. We got some stuff to improve on.
Women. They did a level on us.
Listen, we got some stuff to improve on. But the whole thing is these last 2 generations have been raised by women. So if you see feminine men, that's because they've been raised without men in their household. So to a certain degree, I do agree with you. The men that y'all been raising without men have been turning out a little soft.
These men come. I mean,
I will agree with that.
Because I feel like you can't make a man be a dad. It's like you can't make a man be a man. You get what I'm saying? So it's like when you want the man to be in the little boy's life to teach him how to go to the bathroom or teach him things that because I'm not a man, I can't teach myself certain stuff. But it's like I'm not going to force you to be a dad. So yeah, it forced us to be a single parent because of X, Y, and Z. You either got locked up or something else happened or.
But y'all leaving out a component. You leaving the component that's getting left out is. You know what I mean? Your attitudes.
That like, should not make you want to be a dad.
I'm gonna tell you. Hold up. Yeah, I'm talking about men that have been around that you saying you can't force them to be a dad. That means they're able to be a dad. When I tell you, men have gotten to the point where we want to go where we're celebrated and not tolerated. Nobody wants to have a woman that's playing games with their ability to be a parent. That's just what it is. So we starting new families with people that we can be celebrated with,
and that's stuff, and that's why a lot of those relationships be temporary too, right? Because they don't work out because just how you left the last one, your next one won't be the same way, and it becomes a repeating cycle, and it becomes a pattern with you because most men don't want to take responsibility for their own actions within the relationships that they're in. They want to keep blaming the woman. So because you keep blaming the woman, you keep doing the same thing over and over again because you feel like, oh, well, it was her. Let me leave. Oh, well, it was her. Let me leave. Let me start over. Like, y'all think it's a start over thing. No. At one point in time, do you take responsibility and check your own stuff and take a step back and like, maybe I'm doing something wrong because you keep getting the same outcome with every woman you with.
Especially
let me explain something. Let me explain something real quick. See that I don't know like what the ratio of that is, but in our situation, the man that you married is one woman away from the woman he got away from, and I'm still with you. We've been together for 13 years, so that don't even apply to your understanding. The reality of it is, I met you weeks after, you know what I mean, I had left my ex, and we've been together for 13 years since. So I don't have no pattern, no history of leaving them. No. I promise you, I'm not.
I said men in general.
My screen. Listen. I dig it. My screen out on, but trust me, I ain't mad. But what I'm just saying that to say is that I speak for a lot of men. I'm in the barbershop. See, not only am I a man that's been through it, but I'm amongst a lot of other brothers that's been through that. And I've seen it on plenty of occasions. They'll remarry or they'll go find somebody that does appreciate their presence in the household and allows them to be the man that they want to be to their children. And they rock out. We don't want much.
Let me say this real quick.
Go ahead.
Let's just take the relationship out of it because that's what I was talking about. I'm not talking about men not wanting to be around because they are appreciated, etc. I'm talking about when we're no longer together, but we still gotta be a co-parent and we still got a child. So because I'm not catering to you or answering the phone, or when you ready to get little Coco or whoever, when you ready to get her, when there's a an event, or you want to get her when it's a birthday party, or you just want to get her on holidays to show her off because she got on a cute outfit. It's like, I'm gonna let you be great, but it's like, this not really being a dad. You know what I mean? And like a lot of men, even when you don't mess with the girl, it's like if you give them money, it's like, oh, I'm not taking care of you. It's like, bro, but you still got a child here. So for my brother, my brother baby mom, he don't do nothing. I said, Muhammad, let that be her last time ever saying it. Only for the simple fact that she should never say that. I'm a baby mom too, so she should never say that. No matter what you think her circumstances is, or who she effing, or what she doing, that's her personal business. Give her this amount of, whatever amount of money that you can afford every month.
Jomo,
and
you gotta update your Instagram.
And that just be that. You know what I'm saying? Because nah, that ain't that. So you have the percentage of people who are nasty to their baby dad. I did say that, and like who do use the kids as a pawn. But that man, if he really wanted his kid, can go get shared custody, or go take the extra step. Because my husband got another kid on the side, and guess what I do? Oh, I'm about to hop off though, but guess what I do? I tell him, go get your daughter. Like, go get your daughter. Like, we not doing this, because that looks very weird. That you know. But I would be a nut if I didn't say it, or I'd be a nut if I didn't say, oh, give your baby mom X amount of money, or whatever you can afford, or whatever. I'd be a nut if I didn't say it. You know.
I respect that. So this what I say, and again, we all know, you know what I mean, we all grown. Nothing applies to everybody, you know what I mean. But what I'm speaking to a certain type of man, and there is a large amount of this type of man, and there are other guys that, you know what I mean, play games. Of course, we definitely get that may not have ever wanted children, or whatever the case may be, or just don't want to be responsible, might even be jealous of you moving on. It's some guys that are like that, you know what I mean? But what I'm
bitter baby daddies, real
so so I get that. But what I'm saying is it's literally guys out here that have, you know what I mean, damn near went crazy, damn near committed suicide, because they have to continue to try to prove who they are to a judge who's already biased, to, you know what I mean, the courts that are already biased, and to the general public who are already biased. A baby mom will say anything. A baby mama say he ain't taking care of they done took child support out of my, you know what I mean, out of my check when I was working or whatever for at least 9 years. And you would still hear stuff saying he don't do nothing for his kids. Like,
no, I don't think that's cat.
It's easy to say, and people gonna believe it because of the narrative.
Because it takes a lot to raise a kid, right? So because you give me now, no, it does. Because listen, Mo, let me make the point. I was a single mom for 9 years. It takes more than money to raise a kid. You think the kid care about sneakers? I mean, you think the kid really care about sneakers, or what kind of clothes they got on, or whatever the case may be? Kids care about time, memories, and all that other stuff. So like, if a mom who is a single mom got to be a disciplinarian, that's probably why kids think as mothers are bipolar sometimes. We got to be a disciplinarian. We got to be a friend. We got to be this. We got to be that. We take care of them. They come in the house. They flip the lights on. They got toilet paper, soap, lotion, deodorant. They can go in the refrigerator, get a water. They got lunch. Like, it takes a lot to be a mom. I mean, to be a parent, because some guys are that primary parent for their child. So it's not a gender role, but I'm speaking for myself, because it's not like a gender role all the time. But it does take so when my oldest kid, who was my first kid, her dad was on child support. I can't say, I don't talk bad about him enough, because it's like, yeah, you did give money for your kid every month. Cool, right? But how many recitals you been to? How many shows you been to? How many track meets? How many, you know what I'm saying? Like the little stuff. So when girls say that you don't take care of your kid, it's because 9 times out of 10, it's something that's you think in your brain, and I think it's the expectation thing. Y'all talked about that a long time ago. It's like the expectation. So it's like a woman expectations of a baby dad it might be different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So a good dad in somebody else's eyes is different from a good dad in someone else's eyes, and vice versa, mom or dad. You know what I mean? Because somebody would think I'm a good mom, but then somebody else might not think I'm a good mom. You know what I mean? Because I curse at them or whatever the case may be. So I think that can be like universal. So I think when like I think I'm speaking for the percentage of the women that it would have their kid on baby dad on child support, but still feel as though that they baby dad don't do nothing. Just like I feel like my husband don't do a lot for his oldest daughter, and I'm gonna just be honest. I don't think so, and I verbally always say that. So what I do as a wife, I take the initiative and try to go when I get somebody something, I'll get her something, or you know what I mean, vice versa, to try to make up for the stuff that I see that he's lacking on because he's a man, I think.
Yeah, I respect that. All right, Jax, listen, we gonna, you know what I mean, we gonna let you, you know what I mean, speak your piece. Of course, the topic is true or false. Have men forced women to be more independent?
Well, first of all, what's up, guys? How's everyone?
What up?
You know
what up?
Let me read this again. True or false? No, because I've been listening to y'all ever since y'all started, and I think just some of the opinions and some of the comments I think are a little bit off what the question is. So it says, true or false, have men forced women to be more independent? And the first thing that I thought of when I read this, I've never been able to force a woman to do anything in my whole entire life. And like really sit back and think about it, and think of what force means. That's number one. Think of what forcing means, right? Forcing is really kind of beating someone into submission, right? In order to do something that you want them to do. Submission is a 4-letter word in our culture. Submission is a 4-letter word to women. Submission is a 4-letter word to black women. We can't force black women to do a motherfucking thing. And it also makes me ask the question, oh no, seriously, it also makes me ask the question.
Don't even know. I'm laughing at the comments.
It also makes me ask the question, what man? Let's say that it is true. Let's say that it is true. Mm-hmm. Which man are we talking about? Are we talking about a man that you met when you were a grown adult person and you were already probably independent? Or let's say that it was a grown adult person that you met in a dating situation where you were already an adult, you were already in your 20s. Let's say that you were dependent and then you met him and then he forced you to become independent? Is that what we're saying?
No, that's not what we're saying.
Go ahead. What are you saying then?
No, I'm going to let you continue. I'm sorry.
Are you seriously? All right, bet. So if the man, my question again is, who is the man that we're talking about? Is it the man in the household? Is it your father? Is that the man that forced the little girl to be independent? Or is it the mother? Is it moms coming from the generations that y'all was talking about earlier in the episode? Is it the moms who are telling their daughters that you can't depend on these niggas before they've even given a man a chance to be dependable? So they grow up with a mentality of, you can't depend on these niggas. You can't depend on these niggas. You can't depend on these niggas. These niggas can't lead. I ain't following them. I ain't listening to what no niggas say. If you're a little girl and you grow up and you haven't dated anybody yet, but that's your mentality, how have I forced you to be that?
I think
it's become the culture.
I think that even with Maul going back to his great grandmom and the slavery and the Jets and all of that, I think it became a thing because of how the women back in the day, we talking about great grandparents, didn't have jobs and didn't have was scared to leave their man because they didn't have money. They couldn't survive on their own. You know what I mean? So I think over the years it's been like trauma. Like somebody said, you can't force women to do anything. Women being hyper independent is a trauma response from being let down repeatedly. Women have developed this unhealthy copying skill as a means to survive. And I agree. Hold on, Papa. I agree because as much as I say I don't want to be like my mom, I'm really like my mom, which is crazy. You know? So I think that that's just what it is. I don't think we're talking about the woman that in her 30s that already been independent. And it's like, why did she have to be independent? It's from trauma or whatever, how she was raised. And that's true. You know what I mean?
Trauma.
I don't go ahead.
Hey, Buzz.
Oh, my bad. I mean, because I agree. I actually agree with what you said, right? It being because of traumatic experiences, it being almost a generational curse, it being a generational belief, it being a generational mindset. All of that is true, but that still don't mean a man forced you to do that.
But
like,
can I say something real quick?
I'm about to say because I don't think it's like literally forced. Like,
because even what y'all saying about like with women, like it's a generational curse. So you don't think men behaviors are generational curse either? You don't think that men have been taught to fuck that bitch, leave her ass where she at because of their own traumas that they had to deal with as a father with the person's that child's mother that they were with? You don't think that men do the same thing? I
think that depending on your household, a lot of young men in our culture have been brought up to believe that. I also think that it is completely wrong and doesn't absolve men or women. Because you've been surrounded by bad behavior or poor environments does not absolve you from being able to grow the fuck up and realize, yo, I've been doing this shit the wrong way. Maybe I need to get my fucking life together and change some shit.
Right. So, I agree.
But still,
Chrissy,
if I'm not that type of guy, but even if I was, right, me pointing the finger at what women did and what women forced me to do and how women forced me to behave and how they change, this is all a choice. It's all a fucking choice of how.
So the choice is either I'm going to fight or flight. It's either I'm gonna sit around and like, you know, quote unquote. All right. So let me ask you this question. So if you don't have kids, correct?
I don't.
So if and you're not in a relationship, right?
I'm not.
Right. So if you was in a relationship, let me ask you this one question. How would your relationship go? Like, would you be like the primarily, I guess, person that took care of the household, or do you want it to be 50-50? Or like, how does that look for you when you do ultimately get a person?
In a relationship or a marriage?
A marriage.
In a marriage, I would hope to be the leader of the household. I don't know what my ideal percentage would be in terms of when you say like 50-50. I think that ideally I would take the lead on things that have more of an expertise in, and I would want my woman to kind of take the lead on the things that she has expertise in.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So I think my question was leading up to when you are. I ain't gonna say I'm an expert as a baby mom because I'm on number 3, but I think like you get experience and knowledge from situations, correct? You agree?
Yes.
So I feel like I probably am a little more adamant about what I'm saying because I've been in these situations. Now, whether I'm cursed or whatever, but I'm the only person in my family that's married and still married, and this is probably like the longest marriage that's been in my family. And I only been married for 3 years, and this has really been a struggle. But on the flip side, it's kind of like I was the independent person, you know what I mean? And like it's hard. So when you say what kind of person was forced to be independent, I was that person that was forced. You get what I'm saying? Like forced to be independent because I was that person who was in college, independent on a man, letting him be a man, and I didn't have a job, and I was living my life, and then I got pregnant, and then like life happened, and it was just like, it happened. So, it was like a forced situation. It was forced because I couldn't go back for personal reasons. That's like a whole nother life that I probably, if I could fix my life. But it's like, you know, I couldn't go back, you know, and it forced me to grow up. That's why my first daughter taught me how to be, she taught me responsibility, you know, like because I had to grow up, and because now I got a kid, so I couldn't no longer be dependent on anybody, and her dad wasn't there to help me. So it was like, you know, I was quote unquote forced, but not forced in the terminology that you're trying to say forced. Does that kind of make sense, Jay?
I hear what you're saying. I do. I hear what you're saying. I'm not all the way on board with what you're saying, and maybe it's just because we probably just have two different like lives or whatever, right? Because I'm just a big proponent of you always have a choice, right? You always have a choice, whether it like the two choices may be some shitty choices, some shitty options, but you do have a choice to either go left or go right.
So
And
do you think women should not choose to be independent?
I think women should choose the right person so they don't have to feel like they're being forced to be someone that they're not.
I don't think I was forced to be someone that I was not. I was forced in a situation. And the only thing I had to do was survive and protect and provide for my daughter.
Right.
I was definitely forced into that situation. 100%. And I'm gonna say forced in the sense I could not go back for personal reasons. I could not go back to her dad, and it was like I couldn't. I literally had $2,200 to my name, and I really couldn't go back. And guess what I spent on an apartment because my mom said I couldn't come to her house. 1975, and I had $220 to my name. How I was gonna pay my rent next month? Jackson, I know. So I was literally forced into a situation to make it happen. You get what I'm saying? Went back to work on the bus. I was that woman. You know what I mean? So I wasn't like literally. So like it was either I be in an abusive relationship or I go good on my own. So I had to be independent. I was forced. I don't know if it was forced, but I made the choice.
So let me kind of just add also. So one of the things too is, all right, of course, you know what I mean, back to choice, you know what I mean? You made the decision, you know what I'm saying? And we all have made choices that weren't, you know what I mean, thought out the best, but you made a decision.
No, I'm sorry, I was reading the comment.
All right, yeah, but you know what I mean? You made a decision to have a child, you know what I'm saying? At the time that you had a child, you made a decision to have unprotected sex with a man that, you know what I mean? I don't know if you knew his history or how he was going to turn out to be or whatever the case may be. The other thing is, a lot of these decisions that we're making them when we're still young and we're still figuring things out. You know what I mean? So on the female side of things, there's a lot of women that have had children young, you know what I mean? And they're not fully a complete and whole woman at the time either. And they're having a child with somebody they're having a child with somebody that's not developed at the same time. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not always just, you know what I mean, either your fault or the man's fault that you was forced to be independent. It was two young people that made a decision that wasn't a good decision. And at the end of the day, when your mom say you can't be in the house, because that happened to my mom. Her mom was like, my mom had me when she was 16. She said, you can't come back in this house because I got all these other kids and I don't want to set the tone of all my girls can just get pregnant and come back in this house. So she was also kicked out. And she just so happened to have, you know what I mean, and my father, a good dude. They never got married, but he always stood by her side and was there, you know what I mean, and there in my life. But what I'm saying is once we get older, right, that's child stuff. It's kids that right now, a kid is going, you know what I mean, it's getting embedded in them that black men, you know what I'm saying, aren't going to be there for you. You better be strong. You better be independent. All right, cool. But what happens when you find that black man that is a good partner for you? You're still using tactics, independent tactics on somebody that wants to be your partner. And that's that's a problem also. So we're past the kid stage. Now we're in adulthood, but we're still using kid ways. We're still using kid trauma. And that's something that we have to get over.
Right.
And we can't just use that as an excuse
to
be, you know what I mean, to be aggressive, to be, you know what I mean, uncooperative, because you got a man that's there that's willing to be supportive. And back to women capping about men not doing nothing for their kids, you know what I'm saying? I've seen, you know what I'm saying, not to get in a whole bunch of specifics, but I've basically seen, you know what I mean, people come at my father as if he's not, you you know what I mean, a great dad. And it's totally not the case. And it ain't about money. It's just about, you know what I mean, that support. It's about that protective, you know what I mean, factor. And it's about somebody that's in your corner that cares for you. And I've seen him get dogged out. Now, on the flip side, I've seen moms that have been on substance abuse, and it's not to take anything away from anybody, because we all have our struggles, that have put children up for adoption, you know what I mean, things of that nature, you know what I mean, and did not take responsibility for their children, and they never get dogged like a man does. So what I'm saying is, it's a lot of times it's good dudes, but women will just say he's a dog, or not even say dog, say he's a bad dad or a deadbeat. And since it's so easy for us to accept a man being a deadbeat, that he'll instantly be stamped, and now he has to try to protect or try to defend the man who he truly is. And I've seen great men have to go through that, and that's a part of this false independence. That's a part of this pride that I lost a good man, and so now I'd rather dog him because it makes him look bad, and it makes it look like he was the issue. And that goes on a lot, and it has nothing to do with he made me independent or whatever the case may be. You weren't raised to be cooperative. And I don't know any women that's on here, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of women may not have had a dad in their life to even know how to interact with a man early on. A lot of women don't have mothers that actually sit them down and tell them, okay, listen, it's bad dudes out here, but this is what you do when you have a good dude, and this is what a good dude looks like, and this is how a good dude wants you to interact. So you're not even equipped. You're not even equipped for a good dude. I'm not knocking nobody in particular, but and then let's take it to the next level. A lot of females don't even get in, and it seems kind of far-fetched, but a lot of women aren't even involved in sports. So you don't even understand the importance of being a teammate. You don't even know how to work as a team. So some women have never been in a position to be a teammate to somebody. They're so stuck on this trauma of independence that when they find somebody that's ready to be a teammate for you, you don't have any of the tools. And you look at him, and you look at him sideways.
I think that going back to us not having the tools or knowing the right tools and applying them and knowing what a man look like. Because remember, I said that Misa Bread, Miss Vershaw, I said I didn't recognize that I had a man. Remember, I was like, I didn't know what a man looked like, and I think it was because I didn't have a dad, you know. So when I got a man, I'm like, oh shit, what the heck? So, but I think that me being quote unquote independent for so long, it was hard to let go. But it was like, but what do a man look like? So that was something that I had to realize, and I'm glad I realized it, and can talk about it, and was able to salvage and fix my marriage, But on the flip side, I feel like especially now, it's hard to break. It's easy to get a habit, but it's hard to break it. So being so that it was a learned behavior that I picked up the trait or whatever, and I'm trying it to take you all these times to unlearn it, So I'm learning what decisions to make or learning whatever. So I think that it all boils down to learning your spouse or learning your person, because everybody been through whatever. Everybody been independent or at some point been by themselves. And I think when you get together, is you have to have these uncomfortable conversations about expectations and about kind of like what you've been through. And remember, we had a conversation. Well, I don't know if it was on this live. We had a conversation about what's like, when do you have these conversations? Because these are important conversations to have. Because if I'm an independent woman and I got 3 kids and I don't have a man, and I tell you I ain't have a man in 4 years, I'm going to be independent. I'm not going to include you in certain things. You know what I'm saying? So this is stuff that you already know. So it's like, am I going to put my representation up and kind of be who you want me to be, or am I going to show you and tell you my authentic self? And I think a lot of people show you who they want you to think they are. And some men is okay with quote unquote this, but they really know deep down inside this is really not what they want to do.
I was just going to say, can I take a favor just real quick, right? Like, why? All of the traits of an independent woman is just an adult. Like, why do we label it something that is already a word that exists for it? Like, because normally when you hear quote unquote independent women talk about why they're independent, it's basically the characteristics of just being a grown up person. Like, why do we why do we,
That's it.
not even we, because I don't, why do women pat women on the back for being adults? If
No,
I am,
Jax, you're
I'm
an
an
independent man
but
right now.
I ain't never, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
Just being
like
an
you
adult.
just,
Right.
That's why this like drives me crazy, like, because like independence is not something that you should get like an extra trophy for, dog. You make it, whether you made your decisions when you was in your 20s to, you know what I'm saying, to sleep whoever, marry whoever, date whoever. Like, we all go through ups and downs. We all make bad decisions. Some decisions weigh more heavily than others. But all the decisions that we make as teens affect us in our 20s. The decisions that we make in our 20s affect us in our 30s. The decisions that I'm going to make in my 30s is going to affect me in my 40s. Like, that's just what life is. But for some reason, we came up with this, like, luxurious term for women who actually behave in a way where they have to make up for the decisions that they made earlier in life. That's fucking life.
I mean, you know, I think well, to me, I think the term is because naturally we are not born on this earth to be by ourselves. We are all born on this earth for a mate, like for someone to reproduce. You get what I'm saying? So like, I think that independent part came in when the mothers are left by themselves and they have to play these different roles. I think that's where that kind of quote unquote, and I mean, and being an independent woman, you don't want a trophy. I don't want to be an independent woman. I don't want to pay all these bills. I don't want to be an independent woman. I'm never was a girl to be like, and I'm an independent woman. No, I'm a bum and I need help. So I don't want to be an independent woman. But I think that the phrase and the word came from these broken homes, and these moms are doing everything independently without a spouse. I think that's where it came from. Not, I'm a survivor. No, I don't think that came from it.
No, I respect that, and I say this, like, you know what I mean, the in terms of the term independent, you know what I mean, woman, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be, I definitely do, you know what I mean, see where, you know, it's used, but the thing is, they have used that as a trophy, as something to, it's almost like, you know what I mean, you know how you go to school for 8 years and you get a doctorate, and as opposed to somebody calling you, you know what I mean, Mrs. Bradshaw, they call you Dr. Bradshaw. They use, well, I mean, I'm gonna speak for myself. I had my daughter.
Men don't know how to do hair.
I had my,
like, men don't know
I had my daughter for it.
like,
I had my daughter.
Like, you shouldn't be an independent.
You gotta
Listen.
update your Instagram,
so when you
Mojo.
be an independent man too, that shit is hard. And the independent period is hard because you need two parents to have.
Right. So this is the thing. In that case, if you, and this is the thing, these are a series of poor decisions, because if you had a child with one person, then this is not intended for you. We have women that are continuing, and like you said, Cherie, to make poor decisions, having multiple men that we're dealing with, you know what I mean, and not vetting them out properly. That is a parenting thing. That is something, again, is a decision thing on your end. But as, again, at some point, our parents have failed us to some degree, because why weren't you prepared for that? Why? Like, because, and here's the other thing. You figure it'll be one woman, right? It'll be 6 different women impregnated by one dude. And we're saying that dudes ain't shit based on this one dude who was a bad decision for 6 motherfuckers. So if you seen this nigga have 5 other children that he didn't take care of, why are you even dealing with him? And so we're judging men, and I'm talking about the men from the cloth that I'm cut from, that have been designed, that love children, that love the concept of family, that enjoy educating and protecting the whole construct. We're judging men of that cloth based on men that have gotten chosen based on poor decision making, you know what I mean, choices. Like, and that's the problem, because that's just a microcosm of black men. We have a lot of great men, such as myself, that are prepared to be partners for black women, but we're getting the tag from the poor decision that you made with these other men. And you had choices, and the same dudes that y'all was overlooking, some of those guys might have been nerds to y'all at some point, And now, you know what I mean, they done took that, they was gamers, now they took it and they're running tech firms and things like that, and they're looking back like, you know what, y'all all overlooked me, you know what I mean? So yes, my standard is different, you know what I mean? And he's getting shamed because now he has a higher standard because he was overlooked, you know, for the longest time as if he was a nut. And people are having babies with the guy that was, you know what I mean, a poor choice. And now you want to come back to this guy. So a lot of this is not just men forcing women to be independent. A lot of this is the fact that women have a choice to deal with men that aren't raised to bring families together. It's very simple. You have men, the men that you deal with, some of them are about family. And those are the ones that are sticking around with their children. And then there's ones that you chose that were not designed for that. They weren't raised to be a part of family. And a lot of these women are raising their men to be, their boys to be pimps. They raising them like, man, you better not spend no money on that girl. Like, these are women raising their sons to be just like the men that they say they don't want them to be, that they don't like. And it's a pattern. You know what I'm saying? So you can't blame men for that.
Here's how
pattern.
I know that ain't nobody forcing you to be independent. Because if you want to be if you don't want to be independent so bad, why you can't stop it? Why you can't turn it off if you don't want to be it so bad?
Listen, I'm gonna say this because I mean, every single time we do this live, it always becomes a woman and a man thing, and it's really not. No, what I'm saying, like how you're talking, y'all take stuff so personal. Let me finish. You're not letting me finish. You're just speaking. But yes, you did. You talking about something. That's what the topic is about. I know what the topic is about. But like me and you were talking in the car, I said our relationships is like slavery, right? You got the white man who got all these black people that's they slaves and everything else like that, right? You got this shit going on for years. You got this person beating you down, telling you you're not shit, telling you how you're not gonna be nothing, taking any and everything away from you, making you look like you can't do nothing in life, you can't get nothing right. That's what women and men do in their relationships. Men treat women like they are fucking slaves. And it's gotten old and tiresome. And it's the same thing as people owning slaves. You beat them down, you tell them you ain't shit, and now that they free, they're not trying to let the white man get back into, you know, trying to tell them what to do, trying to make it seem like they don't know how to do nothing right, everything else like that. So now we out here being the handyman. We out here putting shit together. We out here figuring out how to do shit every single day in life. Being a mom, being a dad. No, we can't be a dad for real. But at the same time, we're going to do the best that we can because you got somebody always trying to tell you what you don't know how to do. And then now when we learn how to do it, is you think you don't need nobody, you think you don't need no man, and it don't have anything to do with that. We've been forced to do things on our own and learn how to do shit on our own.
You're fucking the slave master.
Look, you know, but y'all just compared saying that women make wrong decisions and you gotta be an adult, and we know we gotta be a fucking adult. We know that. That's self-explanatory.
Y'all skipping over the point though. Like the point of it is like most married women aren't independent. The most independent woman is the single mothers who had babies out of wedlock. Pick the wrong niggas. Like that's the ones that usually have to be independent because they picked the wrong person. Like we can't make you have a baby. Yeah, a man can get you impregnated. He could get you pregnant or whatever. But it's your choice to have a baby by that man, which now puts you in a position where if that man ain't around, you have to be independent because the next man always ain't trying to take care of yours. And sometimes y'all don't want that man to be able to step in because he ain't the dad. So it puts y'all put yourselves in these situations. That's why it's like it's y'all that create the independence. There's not a single childless woman out here, in my mind, that will be claiming independence unless she didn't want to be with a man. And if she don't want to be with a man, that's her choice. Because y'all want a
She's
man
just
to
single
lead.
at
Y'all
the.
want the man to lead. And like Maul said, and I was gonna say it earlier, y'all, you look back on your friends, back at most women back in the day, like when y'all was younger, y'all looked over the good dudes. Y'all looked at the trappers. Y'all looked at the dudes with the cars when we was young. Y'all was looking at, you know what I'm saying? Y'all was looking at the ball players, the athlete who had all the women. But it was mad dudes out here that was just coming up, going to school, doing their thing, getting ready for their future. But y'all looked over them because they was corny. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm good.
No, I mean, that's a good point. And here's the other thing. You know, we talk about having open lines of communication. We talk about, you know, men expressing themselves and being open to communicate and be transparent. And then the moment where we actually, you know, are being genuine and honest, you know, you down that. You try to shame that. You try to say, you know, we're just coming at black women and things like that. But the black woman has to be able to accept constructive criticism. We've been criticized our whole life. A female tell you, "Oh, I ain't messing with you. You ain't got no money," or "I ain't messing with you. You too dark, or you ashy, or you broke, or you short, or you this, or you fat." You know, we've been criticized our whole life, and we've had to take that constructive criticism. And honestly, I think that's why, on some real shit, and this is what was tough for women, is that men have actually gotten better. And I'm gonna say why. We had a fall off time frame where it was a lot of men that were, you know what I mean, subjected to, you know what I mean, losing jobs, this, that, and the third, multiple households, leaving households, this, that, and the third, you know what I mean? And what happened was they had children, and these children, some of these young men, although they may have been raised by women, they said, you know what? I don't know what it is to be a man, but I know what I don't want as for my children. And a lot of men have said, you know what? I'm going to be in my child's life. And my dad wasn't there, but I'm gonna be there. If we even look at basketball players, we look at the times in the 90s where, you know what I mean, 80s, 90s, where you had Jordan and you had Scottie Pippen, you had Sean Kemp, some of these guys, when they got their fame, they were still caught up in that, you know what I mean, in that world where it was all about them. They was running around, this, that, and the third. They was leaving their women, you know what I mean, this, that, and the third. But you look at the athletes nowadays. You look at the LeBrons, who's with his wife since high school. You look at Steph Curry, who's with his wife, you know what I mean, for years. You know what I mean? They have a very, you know, connected marriage and things of that nature. A lot of men are making up for some of the, you know, the society's viewpoints on men and said, all right, society views us as not being shit. Well, I'm going to step up in my household, whether I had a man or not. And what's happening is you have women that have, you know, taken that society thing of men ain't this, I got to be independent. You have men that have been working on themselves. And now that we're adults, you don't have the, like I said before, you don't have the tools to work on being a partner. You don't have the tools to work on being cooperative. And everything that gets close to being cooperative, any term that gets close to being a partner, you take it offensively. And when this man that's ready to have a family, that this man that has prepared himself throughout his life to be a partner and to lead and to protect his family and be there for his family and support his family, he's trying to let you know, listen, you can let that guard down. Listen, you can do this, you can do that. And the first thing you do is you can't take constructive criticism, and you say he's being controlling, or you say he's trying to tell me what to do, or you say that's toxic masculinity. You got to realize we have a message from God, just like y'all got. He made women and men. So we both have a purpose in this life. And by you rejecting the purpose that the black man is trying to tell you, you rejecting God. At the end of the day, it's a message that y'all got that's completely separate from the message that we got, and you rejecting it, and you not realizing that you not a lot of y'all not reaching your highest potential. Yeah, it's some that are. Don't get me wrong, and it's a lot that are. But the reality of it is, with that union, that's what makes you strong. Division and no other race on earth is individualism power. It ain't there. Unity is the power. Partnership is the power. And y'all swear y'all doing something, but the reality of it is you could be doing twice as good with a partner and you don't have the tools to humble yourself and take constructive criticism so you can come together with a man. You rather shame him when he's being honest and open and transparent with you, even though this is what you say you
Can I
want,
say
but
something
you
real
can't
quick?
handle it.
So
Always, Crystal.
I see a couple
Go
women like, no sir to what I said. Even April has said something like relationships go bad, which is true. You know what I'm saying? But I think it goes back to the point of you shouldn't be having babies out of a relationship, is what I'm trying to say. You're supposed to get married, then have a baby. So if your relationship does go bad, you walking away without a child. Because the man can walk away and go do his thing. Now you left to be independent. We backwards. Nobody moves like that but us. So yeah, like y'all go
They
be
sure
relationships
do.
and baby
Them
mom,
white women
baby
do
dad.
beating and cheating.
Hey, listen, they married though, and they protected, as y'all say. That's what y'all say. Like I feel like the only black woman that's not protected is the ones that's not married. And I really think all black women are protected. And if you want to be honest, a lot of y'all, I mean, we ain't gonna get into that one, but but I'm just saying, like, the point of it is that you're supposed to be married before you have a child, is what I was trying to say. And a lot of us don't. A lot of us don't do that. So yeah, when your relationship goes bad, now guess what? You leave with the child. Because 9 times out of 10, even if the man was to fight for the child, you're gonna fight to say no.
I do have a genuine question, right? To not be battle of the sexes. I do have a genuine.
Y'all can't help it. It's every week. Every week.
I know it's personally.
I try to get a nice.
Hey Joe, let Jen hop on right quick.
So my question is to kind of like to go back to the independent topic from the perspective of like not having children in the picture, right? Because as a single person.
Wait.
What?
Oh no! Wait, please hold. Don't.
So as a single person with
hold on, Jen. Hold on.
As a single person with no children,
she drinking a wine. Oh shit.
Being able to actually see that there are single women also with no children, like they are still pushing and championing I guess like the independent woman trope or whatever, right? So like I want to take children out of it just because that's my personal perspective, right? So if we can try to talk about it, just not including single moms, single parents, kids and all that, because there was a time where we all existed before we had children. So
for sure,
why does it seem like that the independent woman thing seems as if it's something that women are proud of, but when we have conversations on a personal level, I guess the vibe of the conversation seems to be that women will say, well, I really don't want to have to be this, but there's no real visual effort of them trying to actually not be that.
Because with men in general have made it difficult to say, okay, let me put my guard down and allow this man to be the man because of constant behaviors and patterns that they've had where it's like, okay, all right, I'm gonna let him do his thing. I'm gonna let him control the situation and I'm gonna let him be the man. And then we let him be the man and then the shit happens again.
What is the shit and what is it again?
The shit is being the man, being the provider, being, that go-to person. That person that you can go to at any time with anything within your relationship, your household. You depend on that man to be there to support you in those outlets that you're looking for in your relationship, like most women do.
Okay.
And you feel like he has all the answers and he has all the plans and he has it all under control because that's what he gives off.
Okay.
And then when he drops the ball and it's like, okay, he dropped the ball once. All right. Okay, he dropped the ball twice. Okay. Now he done dropped it about 20 more times. And then when you ready to be like, all right, I got to do this shit myself. It's like, oh, you don't trust me. You're not supporting me. You're not being that strong woman, supportive woman I need you to be. Well, how long? I mean, we done been here about 20, 30 times over having the same conversation.
So I have
so
about that. So to
now I'm gonna get out and do it. And I'm gonna do it, and it's gonna be done. And now it's like, okay, I can't depend on you to be who I need you to be. So now I have to depend on myself.
You got you. Let me
to do
finish
everything.
your point.
Fair, right? 20 fuck ups, 30 fuck ups, 20, 30 times where he proves that he's not capable of being the man that you need him to be for you to not have to be independent. So, and that's fair. What doesn't make sense to me is the choice of remaining to be with the man who you don't believe is capable of you depending on him versus just ending it with that man and actually going out and making an effort to find a man who is capable of doing that. Because then now what that does is it shifts the pendulum and the responsibility back onto you to make the effort to find the type of man that you actually align with, as opposed to me, it's a cop-out remaining in a unsatisfactory situation where you're having to be something that you don't want to be.
No, but Jax, it don't just be one situation. So okay, let's say you find let's say okay, your man, he don't necessarily tell you right off the bat that he's not a handyman, right?
Okay.
And in your mind, because for women, we feel like men should be handymen, but they're not.
Okay.
But you're not going to realize that he's not a handyman until after a while where he keep putting certain shit together and shit just still fucking broke.
Okay.
So, okay, now that's one outlet that you figure out he's not a handyman. Okay, now let's go into something else. All right, well, let's say he know how to cook, right? That's another thing. Because we give chances. It's a chance at the chance at the chance at the chance. Of course, you're not just going to back away and be like, F that nigga. I'm not going to be with him no more because he's not a handyman.
Okay.
Women don't do that.
Okay.
That's why they don't just jump up and leave the relationship right then and there, because that man is lacking something in the relationship. Because when he's lacking, we can pay somebody to put some shit together. It ain't the end of the world. That does not make him a horrible man. That's why women don't just turn their backs on men. They don't just look at it like, oh, he don't know how to put shit together. Fuck him. I'm moving on to the next man that know how to put shit together, because he could be good at other things. That's why.
So if the overall scope of the man is still positive, then there's still no need for you to have like this badge of independent honor. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm talking about the overall scope.
Can I interject for a second? I got like 13% on my battery.
I'm crying, April.
Hey, what up, baby?
And I got paper to write. Listen, I don't understand what the offense is about the whole independent term. The independent term is just women, celebrating their liberation of their independence. That's it. I feel like society has created this stigma around independent women that has this negative effect. Like when people hear that, well, I'm gonna say men in particular, black men in particular, because they seem like the only ones to be offended by the whole independent term. And me personally, I think the independent term only offends men who want to control and manipulate. That's just my opinion. The other thing is, and I'm speaking to Jax, not you two, you being a single man, right? Do you want a benefit or a liability?
Well, that's a question for me. I'd rather have a benefit or asset, yes.
Okay. And that's what comes with independence.
I'd like to add something on before your phone. So okay, so how can I explain this? I don't think that men are invented by, or I don't.
It came from feminist movement
or independent women. I don't think that they are insecure, because I know that's a default response to. I don't think that men are insecure of independent women. I don't think men are intimidated, because that's a default response. I don't think men are intimidated by independent women. I think what most women miss is that, for whatever reason, when women do have the newfound independence, or the money, or the power, or whatever it is, it changes like, you know how they say money only enhances the person that you really are. To me, it exponentially worse with women. Like, and what I mean by that is, like, when women get, and when I'm speaking in like 51% majority, right? So anytime I say when women, or most women, I mean at least 51%. Because I think that when women get a certain level of independence that they've never had or never experienced, a certain amount of money that they've never had or never experienced, a certain amount of power that they've never had or never experienced, they don't really know how to wield that shit when dealing with men. Like I
would have to agree with you to some degree.
Like, because a dude, well, I don't think a lot of men would, like, if me and you were dating, and right now I make 50 grand, but then I get a promotion, or I get a whole bunch of a couple of big projects, and now instead of 50, I'm making 150. Most men is not gonna fucking walk around with a different attitude and be shitting on you, and now I don't listen to what you got this. Like, I don't think that's really how men operate. But when it comes to like women, it's like it's like your accolades like go to your attitude, and that's what niggas don't want.
But I can say that for both sexes, because I've been in a relationship, because I'll use myself, right, as an example of an independent woman, not because I wanted to be. My circumstances put me in a position to be independent, right, due to life choices, right? I was in a situation where I was riding, right? And that person became way more successful than me. And then they moved on, to something else. You understand what I'm saying? So now I'm in a position where I'm independent, successful, liberated, or whatever the case may be. Not saying that I don't, that I can't take advice or take leadership from a man, but due to my traumatic experiences, some things are going to take some time. And we've often talked on this platform about communication. Those are the conversations that we have to have when we're dating or in these relationships. So we won't even have to visit like these conversations.
I think the conversation is great. You know what I mean? Because it allows us to start to change the narrative. Because, the reality of it is, we haven't had these conversations enough, because they continue to happen even when women are looking for men, because they'll carry on, like Jax was saying, that mantra of I'm independent, but it reflects in the attitude, and it pushes men away. It pushes that man that would be there to support and would be there to, to protect his household and be there to be a partner, and a companion. It pushes that away. And, I've seen a lot of people, women throw the independent woman thing around a lot, and everybody's not independent. And there's a lot of women that are alone, that, and some that are even lonely, but some are just carrying it around as if
lonely.
No, for sure. But I'm just saying,
I'm alone, but
it's just thrown around. And I've seen it. Listen, I know people personally that's carrying around this thing, and this is where women have to humble themselves. Leadership does not mean perfection. Because you have a man in the household that is, has committed to your household, if he's making mistakes, that is a part of growth. That is a part of your growth. That shows, your commitment to him when you can still support him. Some men aren't doing as good in their household because they don't have the right support from their women. Honestly, if you listen to, you know what I'm saying, some men that have been highly accomplished, they attest some of their highest accomplishments to having the right woman. It's some men that could be doing way better. And we like, you know, he a bum, he don't do nothing right, he don't do nothing right. Like, you're anticipating him not doing well. I've been in situations where I struggled in certain areas, and I've had the right women in my life that have like spoken life into me, into my spirit, and allowed me to flourish and get better. So you guys have the key to our success, and we do to you guys as well. And so what happens is, when you have this whole, I let him be a man, you can't let no, and that was used earlier. When you let him be a man and you let him, you're not letting anybody be a man. You coming off as if you're already perfect, when we're in relationships with women all the time, and you'll come off as if you letting him do something, and he know your shit stink too. You ain't perfect. You don't got the answers to everything, and you're not on top of the hill. You're not on the top of the mountain either.
I'm confused, because letting him be a man, isn't that what y'all guys want us independent women to do? To allow?
No, we want you to be. No, we want you to play your part.
They play with them words. They play with them words a lot. Y'all love playing with the words.
No, because I'm not letting you be a woman. I can't let you be a woman. You're going to be a woman because that is your essence. That's your existence. You can't let me be a man because that's who I am.
Let me correct you on that.
So what I will agree with, by you saying, hold up.
Presence of a man.
I'll say this.
It doesn't come out for everybody.
I'm gonna say this. Either you're a woman or you're not. Either you're feminine or you're not. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's the same thing with masculinity.
Either you're gonna be masculine
not
or not, or you're gonna be feminine or not. It goes both ways though.
Listen,
y'all use certain words and all that. It's like
you
can't
cut
do
me
that.
off though. You getting loud and cut me off. That's a masculine trait.
Stop.
Like we all got turns. We all got turns. We respect it when April spoke.
But you see what
you're doing the same thing.
You see what I just said earlier?
But you're doing the same thing.
That whole independent term was created.
You're doing the same thing.
Because
it's all about playing your part.
Manipulative right now in this moment.
It's not. It's about stop cutting people off. It's very simple. It's very simple.
Use something that he did.
It's a common respect.
Around it, Maul. You don't even realize that you're doing it.
You don't realize that you cut me off. And that's the whole point. No, that's the whole point. The whole point is a common courtesy. You're not letting me do anything. We're having respect amongst each other. And and that's all it is. I'm not letting nobody be a woman. You can't look. I'm not going to look, April. I'm not going to be more of a man because a woman is being feminine. How does that make sense? Can you explain that to me? How does it you only become feminine when the right man comes around? Can you explain that? I don't understand it.
Okay, for those who don't understand, let me explain. When a man is a man, okay, man being a protector, a provider, someone that's securing me emotionally, that's not making me look stupid, that's not playing my face, respecting me publicly and privately. The feminine side of me is going to come out more and more is what I'm saying. To some asshole, not saying you or Jackson or anybody on this live, I'm just saying in particular, to some asshole with no morals, no respect, he's going to get the chick from South Philly.
What's your
he's not going to get
that. What are you when you have no men? When there's no men around, what are you?
What do you mean?
No,
just sitting idle.
When you just out running errands, going to the store, go to the gym, go to work, like.
Oh, I'm being a respectful woman. I'm being who I am.
Let me.
But
I'm just asking a question. So like, when you're just living your day, when you're living your day-to-day life, and you're not in a relationship, you don't have it, man. What's your default setting? Is what I'm asking.
What is my default setting? Like, what makes me turn up or turn down?
Do you have so you know when you like get a new TV or you get a new appliance, as soon as you hit the on button, there's default settings, and then you have to make the adjustments. You have to turn this knob and turn that knob and hit that button and hit that button. What I'm asking is what are you when you open your eyes and you wake up in the morning? Are you feminine or are you masculine? What's your default?
Oh, I'm
right. So it doesn't.
feminine
So I
all
think
day
what
long.
I'm trying to say is, if that's your default, that's gonna be your default.
But here's the thing. Here, let me interject for a second.
It's the
I'm
same.
not cutting you off. I'm interjecting. No, it's not. It's not. We ain't gonna play the word game. You gotta have some references with it. We ain't about to play the word game. But what I'm saying is, if I'm in a space, I'm being feminine, right? Me being an independent woman, single mother, right? I might have to be masculine in certain situations because I might have to protect something. Because I'm independent, I'm solo, alone. So you see how those roles are interchangeable. It's not that that's a part of who I am to my core. It's just that that's the behaviors that I had to, had to show out of survival. You understand what I'm saying?
So what I'm saying in response to that is what you just said is basically you wake up, you're feminine all day long until you have to put your masculine mask on, depending on your environment, depending on your situation. Right? So
absolutely. That's
survival.
There
has to be like a space where when you meet a man or when you're dealing with a man, like there's like this space of time where you don't necessarily like you still feeling each other out. So in the feel out, I'm thinking that if you're a feminine woman, if that's your default, then you should just be that. You shouldn't be. And I think we're living in a time where most women are either their default is masculine or they're always wearing their masculine mask until they think that they can take it off. And to me, that's backwards.
So basically what you're saying in Jack's terms is that I'm supposed to be a nut all day long.
That's sad.
That's what I hear.
But look, April, this is the problem. This is the problem with the independent woman term.
All about to get me.
No, I ain't about to get you. I ain't about to. No. Listen, the problem with the independent woman term is it shames femininity. And the crazy part about femininity is one of the strongest assets that a woman can have. A woman can gently ask you to do something, and because of that energy that she's giving off, it can persuade you to do what she's asking you to do faster than if she was to be masculine about it, or if she was to be hard about it or loud about it. You would be so surprised. They're taking our women out of their feminism, which is their strongest power. Like at the end of the day, I'm strongest, you know what I'm saying? And we have strengths that balance each other out. And all I want to say is the Claire Huxtable effect. Women nowadays, they feel like gotta be hard. You know what I mean? They gotta, you know what I'm saying? Be loud and all of that. When Claire Huxtable would walk in the room, and this is on stage, off stage, on camera, off camera, her essence that she had as a woman, her feminism, it was so strong, it was persuasive. And a lot of women has lost their strength in their persuasion of their feminism, and it's shame.
I'm a nut. They lost it, but why do you think that they lost it though?
Hey, go ahead.
They didn't just lose it just because.
Can I tell
you want me to answer that? You want me to answer that, or you want
Claire Huxtable and her femininity and all of that? You have to consider the environmental factors that affect Black women and independent women. These newfound independent women, you have to consider those environmental factors, those missing fathers and missing male figures and disappointing relationships and all of that. All of that has to be considered when you're dealing with these people. And for me, for someone I'm open with my traumatic experiences, my femininity is to be earned. It's not just to be given. Because when I've given it naturally, some people took advantage of that, is what I'm saying, Maul.
Hold on. I listen, I get that. And what I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's been shamed and it's been damn near lost. And the sad part about it is it's been lost before you even got to the stage to pick the right man. You've lost it because, not you, April, women have lost it because they haven't been taught that their feminism is their strength. They've been taught that men aren't to be trusted, and that you're gonna have to depend on yourself. And then they have not been taught how to pick the right man. So you've been picking the wrong motherfucker for so, not anybody in particular. Women have been picking the wrong motherfucker over and over again. And I get it. Your perspective is, I gotta get hard because these niggas, they ain't, you know what I mean? I can't depend on these niggas. No, you're right. You can't depend on the niggas you chose. So what about when the right guy comes across and he really is right? You don't have the tools to
That
treat.
wasn't my issue.
That's what I'm saying. But hold on, I'm gonna land
They
a
were
plane.
just some cheating
Look,
ass niggas.
I'm
They
gonna land a
always
plane
gave it up.
for sure. I'm gonna land a plane. You know what I mean? But guess what? What happens is when you just you know what I mean, when you choose in the wrong way, you are going to have to prepare yourself for the type of man you're choosing. Women aren't even preparing themselves for the right man. You're not honing in on your feminism. You honing in on your independence. Independence means single. It means separated. It means alone. And so if you're preparing to be alone and single and separated, you're not even in the right space. You don't even have enough experience being a partner. So you sitting there thinking it's him, but beloved, you don't have no experience. Sometimes it's you. You've been trained to push a nigga away for your whole life because you've been choosing the wrong guy.
I want to say for the record.
That's one layer. I'm gonna say this. Everybody has a valid point. It's so many layers to this conversation.
For sure.
Nobody's wrong.
For sure. And
Go ahead, Pastor. Go ahead, Pastor. No sleeves.
I don't want no woman where I gotta earn her femininity.
Don't that sound like for a guy? That is not invited.
This is why you don't be getting the head that you be talking about.
You should not. That was a low blow. That was literally.
You know I'm petty.
Hey, listen, at this point, I'll take all the low blows I can get. But I don't get. But you know what? Though?
He said he wanted a low blow.
I'm willing to. That's a hill I'm willing to die on. Like I'm gonna stand on that. I'm not. And I'm not, if that's how you operate, that's how you operate. I'm just, for me, like, that's too much wasted time, and that's too much, that gives too much, I need a man who can handle me vibes for me.
But here's the thing, we're in a social environment right now on like a podcast platform. If we were in an outing, you would love me. I carry femininity, I carry confidence, I carry awareness, I'm witty, I got personality, all of that. Do I take bullshit?
I never said
no.
I didn't love you. I could love you from way over there.
That is true. I'm just putting that out there for my fans.
But what
we love you. We love you, April.
What I'm also saying is that it's not. The juice is not worth the squeeze, because I shouldn't have to fight to get to your so-called default setting. I shouldn't have to do that because
and that's your requirement. Some other men might require more. They might not want somebody that's just soft and vulnerable to anything. It's all choice. We all speak from our own perspective. It's not a generalized.
A lot of men be on here
from his perspective. We cut him off.
I'm trying to
let him
because
finish
if I gotta,
and then you go straight.
To me, right, as a guy who don't get head, as a guy who don't fuck, right, too much energy to have to fight my way into your default setting, because what that tells me is that's not your default. If you don't lead with your feminine shit, like, that's not who you are, and I don't got time for that. That's like me getting on here, and the first time I meet you, I'll be like, hey. And then I'll be like, y'all gotta earn my masculinity. You that shit. You got. Wow. I ain't gonna let you see the strong side of me and the masculine side of me until I can trust you, trust to be around. That sounds silly. It sounds silly.
Be honest.
And
be honest.
Cool.
Be honest. That sounds silly. No, let's be real as adults. That sounds silly. Honestly, let's all agree. That sounds silly. If Jack's out on here, hey, and unless y'all act like women, I ain't gonna act like a man. Like, that's not, no.
Man, y'all just want what y'all want.
Can I say something,
and that's
please?
just the bottom line.
Because every single time I try to talk,
Is you
I talking over somebody.
I'm sorry.
No, y'all just talking too damn much. Is
I
what
interjected.
y'all doing.
I
Because
interjected.
I hate the fact that y'all try to keep labeling women on what they're doing. No woman is coming off masculine from the jump. Y'all pulled that shit out of us, and y'all don't fucking like it. We come in as this soft, feminine, loving woman.
Where?
We come in as that. Y'all fall in love with that. But then when y'all show y'all true colors and start acting like jackasses, it's like, okay, now the gloves is on and all bets are off. Because again, like I said, it ain't no next. Because in the beginning, we letting you slide, we letting that slide the 20, 30, 50, 60, 70 times of the dumb shit that y'all be doing and being disrespectful, talking to somebody like saying any and everything you want to say to me because you feel as though you a man. And then now when I reciprocate and give you that same energy, now I'm being masculine.
Look at the
well, what the fuck are you doing? You being a bitch. Because why are you fucking talking to me like that?
Talk about. That's all I'm talking about. Look.
Why the fuck you talking to me like that then? You being a bitch. Because if you can call me a bitch, I'm going to call you a bitch.
Look at the
bitch.
niggas that we talking about. That's all talking about.
No. That's niggas in general.
No.
This is men in general. Y'all think y'all can talk to some, men think they can talk to a woman any kind of way. Period. And we let it slide. We take the ass whoopings. We take the cheating. We take all that shit in. We let it slide. We forgive you. We still try to be all nice and sweet. And then you take advantage.
Y'all
take advantage.
Y'all gonna stop putting me in this ain't shit disrespectful nigga box.
Hey, you.
I'm not
Y'all be talking about women all fucking night.
I take offense to that, man. Cause I'm not the only nigga like me, dog.
Listen, the way you talking about women, you ain't saying, well, not you, Shabri. So, but I ain't offended. Why are you offended?
Because
if the shoe fit, wear it. If it don't, leave it alone.
You asked me.
Because he be saying pocket shit and he know it.
Jax.
Oh my God.
Hey, Jack, say what you gotta say.
Triggering people's masculinity.
Say what you gotta say, Jack.
Nah, real. Oh.
Listen, when we get to a point, that's when they like to cut us off. Say what you gotta say, bro.
So I do get offended because when women speak about, when we had these back and forths, right? We had the whole battle of the sexes, whatever. We do get put in a box just by our gender. You feel me? Like, so I am offended because when I'm on a panel, when I'm on a pod, when I'm on something, I am speaking for me, but I'm also speaking for men who are like me. And I know that I'm not just a stereotypical nigga. I don't disrespect women. I don't disrespect people. I don't treat women like shit. I don't lie to women and fuck them and leave them. And all of the examples that y'all giving as to why y'all masculine, I don't treat women like that. I don't. I swear to God that I don't. And it's ironic because part of me not fucking or getting sucked is because I don't treat women like that. And that says a lot about the community. That says a lot about the culture. That says a lot about maybe why men are the way that they are towards women. And that says a lot about why we continue having these conversations. And the only examples that we can ever bring up is the part of the community that's in the fucking gutter. Why are the niggas that are in the gutter always the niggas that's hurting y'all feelings? Why is that? Why? Nobody can answer. I'll give you the fucking answer. Because that's who y'all fuck. What are we talking about, man? So if you fucking right, I'm offended. Because just the view of me, the optic of me, you put me in that box and I'm not like them niggas.
Jax. I'm about to say the whole conversation. Listen, Jax. The whole conversation, right? You and Jamal, y'all have not been talking in a general like it's like you women, and we're not taking offensive because we know you're not you're not
Hold up, I got
directly talking to me, or you're not directly talking to April. You're just talking from a general your general statement about what's going on. So it's like there's no need for you to truly get offended. That's what April was even saying about this independent word. Like y'all get when men in general hear certain words, it's like rah! But it's like, why? If the shoe fit, wear it. If it don't, leave it alone. We having a general conversation, and that's the reason why we have these battles, because we as people can't have general conversations without somebody getting all emotional or in their feelings, because it's like, well, you're not talking about that. Now we letting out all this personal shit that don't have nothing to do with you.
But no, y'all gotta realize Jax is still filming, so he can get sound bites for his joint. So you know what I mean, let him work his magic. You know what I mean? I got you, Jax. I feel you. You know what I mean? You gotta give it a little optics to the situation. You see the microphone,
that's
nigga.
right.
You gotta have a little
if it
spice
don't apply, let it fly.
Listen, if it don't apply,
I'm not going back and forth with nobody with no sleep.
We get you serious shit.
But the narrative is so serious though.
No, it really is.
That's honestly why it's not really a take it personal thing. I take the narrative personal, because the narrative is ultimately what's fucking killing us, bro. Like and I've experienced this so many times of me knowing the type of person and the type of man and the type of human being that I am, but it's always overpowered by the biggest ain't shit narrative. I hate the narrative. So
I don't like the stigma of an independent woman. I feel like I'm a part of that stigma, and I feel like I'm not given a chance, because the minute I tell a man who wants to be a man what I do for a living, what my dreams are, what my aspirations are, it's like, bitch, oh, you too much. You trying to be da 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 da. And it's like, no, I'm not. Like, this is just who I am because of circumstances.
yeah.
Aren't you going to support that?
And that's tough, because a lot of times, like this is the thing. Even for some of your sons, you would want him to have a woman that doesn't have up a wall, that hasn't made a lot of choices, that has made him have to, made her have to be hard and him to have to fight for that. So it's not even personal. It's a thing where even for your own sons, you know what I mean, you would want different for your son. And it's not personal. It's somebody for everybody. That's A. You know what I mean? So that's not even, you know what I mean? Everybody has somebody for them. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is, again, what Jackson said, and I hear what he's saying, is, it's a lot of good men, you know what I mean? And they're getting judged based on women that have chose the bad men. And if women really had a better insight on picking men, and I can't even fault women for picking bad men, because I'm gonna tell you why. I can't. No.
You can fault the men for being who they are.
I'm gonna tell you this. I can't even fault the women for necessarily picking bad men, quote unquote. I hate to say it like that, but whatever, making bad choices with men, because a lot of times those choices were done so early, you know what I mean, that, that's just what somebody that doesn't have experience with picking a mate would choose. So you may see, and this is where you know what I mean, sometimes having that balance in the household, you know what I mean. Now let's just take a woman that may have, you know what I'm saying, not had children or whatever the case may be early on, you know what I mean. Of course she may have dated and all of those things, you know what I mean. Now if she's in her later 20s, or you know what I'm saying, even early 30s or so, her decision making may be completely different at this point. She hasn't had, you know what I'm saying, the toxic relationship of having baby dads and this, that, and the third, or picking bad dudes that you have to live with for the rest of your life. That'd be a bad joint. That'd be a bad joint. I'm not even talking about you. Even like with my sisters, you know what I'm saying? All my sisters are married. You know what I mean? My dad was involved, you know what I mean? But they had an opportunity to not feel like they had to hop in relationships and have kids early on. So as they matured as women, now they're making better choices. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a perfect it's not a perfect motherfucking recipe for anybody, but it's a better recipe. You know, it's a better recipe because ultimately the women, and I think Jomo said this earlier, the women that are complaining about being independent women are women that have had children early on, made bad choices with men, and they're stuck with the children based on a bad decision that they make. So now I'm independent, but you're independent because you made a bad choice. It ain't nobody that's single saying I'm independent. You just an adult adulting. You know what I mean? So those are some of the things that we dealing with. You know what I mean? But it's a bad element of women, a bad element of men. But when we get more mature and we have experiences with dating without having children, we able to make better decisions because there are good men out here. It's women that's, you know, that have good men. You know what I'm saying? And it's
good men out here, but all them ain't got good wood. So that's what make things complicated.
That's that you
no.
See,
Can I just say one? Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing? Can y'all too? Just at least, like, I need y'all to talk in general. It's not that it's just good men out here, because it's great women out here the fuck too. Okay, so you need to say it's great people out here, and we just picking bad people. It's great men out here. What the fuck is great women out here? Like, what do you mean?
I'm just saying, it just is what it.
Like,
no, I mean, it's great men. I'm talking about women. We talking about women that are picking men.
People
just
picking
about
people.
General, okay, yeah.
It don't got shit to do if you a man or a woman. It's people picking people.
No, I'm gonna tell you what the difference is, because men don't get pregnant.
Oh my God.
That's the difference.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I mean, why are you so offended?
What do you mean?
Why are you so offended by somebody saying
y'all may not be the ones getting pregnant, but y'all the one damn sure dropping the seed. You out here with all these different baby moms and every fucking thing else. You think that shit make it cuter or better because you don't have a kid? Come on now.
But if somebody can put a baby on you, you're not gonna be more responsible who you lay with.
These guys can go somewhere and get somebody pregnant and then go somewhere else and live a family life and everything.
Right. So wouldn't you make a better choice if you're the one that has to carry a baby? Hold on. So if you have to be the one that carries the baby, wouldn't that mean you should make a better choice?
No, don't that mean that you should make a better choice? It's a team.
No, like she said, we can move on. I've been there.
Yeah,
you know I mean, you ain't let me see my kids, whatever the case may be. We playing this back and forth game.
I need
That's
Instagram
fine.
to have like 8 squares.
I'm gonna start another family. I'm talking about if you are a woman, you don't think you should make better choices with the men that can possibly impregnate you. That's all I'm saying.
Why
you don't want to take responsibility for that.
It's a lot of women here that had children at a young age, and when you're under 25. Your brain is not fully developed, so if you're under 25, we gonna give you a pass. But if you over 25, still fucking with people who ain't treating you right and still getting you pregnant and all that, it is on you.
Yeah, it is. That's all. But even when you're younger, the thing about it is back to the household. You know what I'm saying? Valuing having our women. I mean, having our young women just value themselves and understand that, you know what I mean, you don't have to be looking for love in a man at a young age.
You have positive examples for these young people supposed to know, because you learn from the environment around you, whether it be your community or your parents. So if you have poor examples, you're going to make poor choices, and then years later you're going to have to learn from those choices and make decisions.
So that sounds like it's parental. So that sounds like that's a parental issue because you weren't equipped with.
It's a parental and a society.
Y'all are the ones doing the blame game. I'm saying it's on both sides.
No. We're not even saying both. Like, we don't have to share everything. Certain things that we need to take accountability for. Listen, certain things men have to take accountability for that women don't have to take accountability for. And it's some things that women have to take accountability for that men don't. All we came to the conclusion was if a young lady is making poor decisions, it's probably because she wasn't raised in a proper environment to strengthen her, to love her, and to let her know that she is a queen, she is empowered, and she doesn't need to look for a man to be validated. And that's all we saying. That's a parental thing. So that is not a man forcing you to be independent. That's a household that didn't empower you with loving yourself. So you don't have to look for one of these knuckleheads to look for love.
Absolutely. And then on the flip side, you can have, a young lady that does come from a family who empowers her, who loves her, and all of that, and she just gets a little tingling feeling and start to experience something.
It's exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, that's what's it's exceptions to every rule. But for the most part, that's what a lot of women are coming from. Single parent homes, don't have a father or don't have the attention that they need as a young lady to be empowered to let them know that you are great. Guess what? You're great, and guess what? When you're 30, you're going to be even greater. And you don't need to be dealing with these guys right now. You need to lock in with your education. You need to lock in with your goals. And guess what? Once you blossom into that woman, now you can you're going to attract. A dusty nigga ain't even going to really be trying to go your way. Yeah. When you walk in the room a certain type of way, the nigga going to say something. But ain't nobody motherfucking... Nigga know when he out of his league. And so when you walk with that energy, you already... the choices come to you, and that's where you exude, and that's where motherfuckers. Somebody said earlier, a female said earlier, we want men to choose. Yeah, a motherfucker that's on top of their game, when he see you walking with that confidence and knowing who you are. I mean, I'm talking about down in your spirit. I'm talking about your subconscious thought. I'm talking about when you look in the mirror by yourself. You know what I mean? You knowing who you really are and believing that in your soul, you're gonna attract the right motherfucker. But again, when that household is broke up.
Motherfucker, you're gonna attract a whole bunch of niggas that feel like you're too independent and you got too much going on. And you ain't
Jamal, but everything that you're saying, that's for both parties. No matter how much you want to admit it or not. On men's side, they got them same fucking issues. Like, they be good men and all that and all this other shit, or they was raised in a bad household and all other shit you just said. Men has that same thing, and it's not about because we have to have everything the same. No, that's just y'all thinking process for shit. That's just real life. We both, men and women, go through the same shit. That's why men got a whole bunch of baby moms, and that's why women got a whole bunch of fucking kids.
I think women set the tone.
Lord, me personally, somebody help them.
See,
somebody get them, please.
I think women set the tone, and this is why I say this. This is why I say this, and you know what I mean. Again, this is where you know what I mean. Women wanting to be men and everything. You have your own. Jesus. You have your own set of directions from the Most High. You know what I mean, that are different in a lot of ways than the instructions from a man. You're not a man. You'll never be one, and everything ain't the same. The earth is balanced because everything is different.
No,
but you want everything to be the same.
You don't think it has nothing to do with upbringing?
So what I'm saying,
we don't have the same upbringing.
Hold up.
We both don't have mom and dad.
That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that the reason why I put that, I say that is because the woman bears life to this earth. At the end of the day, we have an attraction to women. So if y'all set the bar high, we're going to step up our game to that bar. A lot of men aren't always motivated like that. We need motivation. Let a woman walk into our lives, and it can change. It completely changes our lives. So if our women are, you know, if our women walk into their essence of greatness, men are going to follow. Trust and believe. Let women all stand together. What was that movie, Chicago? And all the women was like, we ain't gonna have sex with y'all if y'all keep on warring. And then niggas stop beefing like a motherfucker.
I agree with it. Now that part I've been preaching for the last couple of years. We control it.
That's why a lot of niggas is in jail, because they fighting over females and this and the third, they beefing. That's why this nigga. What she said?
Freak bull.
What is
freak bull? Ask you nothing.
Yo.
What is?
And she said, "Ain't no with a God damn it,
that asshole.
That's a blowout." Big.
Hey, I have another genuine question. Honestly,
my head hurt.
What can we do, like solution based, right? Like, what can we do to for women to not feel like they need to be so independent? And also, what can women do to take effort on them without including what a man should do or shouldn't do? What can women do to become less independent so that they'll be able to be more of a smoother fit into
answer
Go
for that.
ahead,
I
sis.
can't wait to answer. So first of all, I'm not going to be less independent because I'll be broke.
Nothing.
Okay. So I need you to find something else.
Rashawn, I'm done.
I need you to find something. I'm not giving up my independence.
Maybe I didn't articulate it well enough. I didn't mean in the physical sense.
You see what you just said? You mentioned independence, right? And what do you guys need to do for us to dumb that down? So that means you associate independence with certain behaviors. I said maybe I articulated. Right. Okay.
I don't mean physically though. So I don't mean like when I think of I think of it. Right? It's an attitude. It's an energy. That's a better word. It's an energy, right? It's not a physical act of I gotta get up and go to work and earn money. That's just adulthood. It's an independence to me. When we're talking about women, it's an energy of I don't need none of you niggas. That's nothing. That's nothing physical.
Said it? I need you today.
I'm trying.
I need you today, right now. I got trash that need to be taken out. I got bills. I got my car that need oil change, all kinds of shit. I need you today.
So my question is, and I had two questions. One question was for men, right? Men, what can we do to not have to make women feel as if they need this independent energy as to where they feel like we don't need y'all niggas for nothing?
Copy.
Be a man of your word.
One solution is to
that was for men. That was for men.
Dependable and be consistent.
So
are
y'all men? Or see, you forgetting again that you're a woman. He asked men that question. He had one for women. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen.
I'm calling the people on you, Ma.
Period.
No. Go ahead. You asked the
Somebody
question.
We need to love them correctly. A guy said that.
Okay. So all right. So the men are answering. I'm going to answer the male side of the question because I think it was a good question. So, what could we do as men to not make our women feel that they have to be independent? And we're not saying it in the sense of going to work. We're saying it in the sense of just having to be, having to take over. You know what I mean? Having to take over because they have felt, and this is what women have said, me in the podcast or whatever, in the live, that they feel like niggas dropped the ball. You know what I mean? So we had to step up. Woo. So I think on the men's side of things, to make our women feel that more at ease, you know what I'm saying, that we can lead, so to speak, you know what I mean, is just tighten up on, you know what I mean, just tighten up on ourselves as men, like in terms of, you know what I mean, our finances, you know what I mean, tighten up in areas of just consistency, you know what I mean, that's a big word I hear women putting out there, just consistency, kind of like being on point. I think honing in with, I think having a conversation with our women is probably the first step. What can I do to make you feel more safe, you know what I mean, within our relationship? You know what I mean? So I think for men, what we could do is have a conversation with our women, because it may be different for every household. So I think for men, what we could do to make our women feel more safe is first have that conversation with them, and then, you know what I mean, and go off of that in terms of things that we need to tighten up on. You know what I mean? So that's what I say. So for women, what do y'all feel that your man, what would y'all feel like y'all man would have to do for you guys to be more cooperative and and feeling less like you have to, you know what I'm saying, take control of everything?
I think you addressed it. Safety covers a whole bunch of things. Safety is you being dependable, you being protected, and consistency and all of that. I think safety covers all of that.
No, I'm saying like, so what? No. So we already covered what we need to do.
You just asked that question.
But I'm answering your question by saying that.
No, I'm saying
you didn't ask that. You asked what can men do, Jamal.
I apologize. I apologize.
Honey, are you
Remember, it was Jack's
on
question
the
at
job?
first. No, it was Jack's question at first, but I know it was a question. Keep their dicks in their pants. I know it was Jack's question, but it was a question posed for women. I mean, for men, and we talking about solution based. All right, cool. We see all of the issues, but what can we do in our households to be, you know what I mean, on the same page? So he asked a question for men. I answered that to, you know, ultimately ask our women what they want of us, and then, you know what I mean, take action on that. So what could y'all do to be more cooperative in your households?
I mean,
With men.
if we're getting safety,
It's not
we
if
would
we're
have to
getting
cooperate.
nothing. It's not if
Jamal,
we're getting nothing.
you can't
It's not
tell
if
her
we're
what
getting
to
nothing.
say.
It's not if we're getting nothing. No, I am, because
No,
it's
he
a
can't do
specific
that.
answer so
No,
that you can take accountability.
fair,
No, listen what I'm saying. Hear me out. It's a
Ask the
question so you can take
I was
accountability.
asking men, without mentioning women, what can we do? And I was asking
Mhm.
women, what can y'all do without having to mention what men should do? So that is the question. What can you do it's like if two people in a row, like, yo, what can I do? Oh, I could do this, without pointing the finger at saying what somebody else could do. That's exactly the question.
Right.
But here's the thing. The
Jamal,
Thing is
stop.
accountability.
Only
Just on accountability.
pertains to the person's needs. Your needs may be different
So,
than Maul's needs.
Just
You understand
all right,
what
so
I'm
just
saying?
generalize it, since we generalize it.
So
Right.
if I was talking to my partner, what are you expecting me to say? Like, what can I do to make you feel more like a man?
No.
Like,
So
saying?
I'll say this. If you've ever been in a relationship where a man has said, you know what, this, I don't like when you do this, X, Y, Z, or whatever the case may be. What could you do to change those things? So I don't know if it's, you know what I mean, being lied. I don't know. It could be a few things. What have you been criticized for in the past from a mate that says, you know what, you need to tone down on this or that? You know what I mean? What are some of those things? What could you do differently to come across and be more cooperative in the next relationship?
It depends. It really depends. This is a tricky ass question. This is really tricky. I know in my past relationship, I was
Somebody says give the benefit of the doubt and give grace. That's a good one.
But the thing is, what am I compromising for? It depends.
We got the answer.
It depends.
What do you mean compromising? We just talking about self-accountability.
I'm listening
Somebody
to
said
the comments.
She's saying that's her thing. She's in the past she may not have been a compromiser. So she's, again, this is self-accountability, and if, as we see, it's hard.
Hold up.
These
First of all,
to take
hold up. Time out.
Self-accountability. It's a challenge.
Don't,
it is.
first of all, I didn't even open up my mouth
First
yet because April was talking. So don't talk about these women. That's your problem. I keep telling you, you keep doing it. Stop doing it.
They ain't got
Stop
no mirrors in the
what
house, Jack. They
April
got no
was talking.
mirrors.
I'm talking about these women. What are you talking about?
They
I've been
perfect.
quiet the whole
Hey,
time,
they
letting her
perfect, Jack.
talk. You just can't help
All
yourself.
right, tune in next week.
You be
Tune
so
in next
fucking
week.
right.
These women is perfect.
Always
And
getting
niggas, we got to get ourselves together. All right.
Like, you really need to chill out.
Go ahead, April. Go ahead, April.
You know what?
We gotta get them back, Jack. They got, you know what I mean? They got you a little riled up. I'm gonna get them riled up a little bit.
Like,
Go ahead. I'm sorry, April. Go ahead.
Like, I feel like, cause Maul, when I respond to your questions, I feel like it's a trap for your bullshit.
Okay.
So I'm being very, very careful of how I answer your questions.
Just say it. Just be authentic.
So basically, what you're trying to get me to admit, it publicly is a flaw in my past relationship. Okay. So I've been addressed with that I'm too, like, compulsive about things being in order, things like that. Some people, they don't like that. For me, that's not something I'm willing to compromise. That's something that's ingrained in me. So now,
April, man, you know what it is though, April. You know what it is. Honestly, you know what it is. We did this. We had this situation before where, like, we understand. They have books on this. Men are from Mars, and women are from Venus. But anyway, you know what it is too. is not. I don't even think. I think sometimes we hear things differently, and so the way a question is posed, you might hear it a certain way and respond that way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it may be that because it's coming off as if you don't have anything in your mind that you can point to in a relationship and say, you know what, I could in this particular relationship. I was this type of person in this way, and I can tighten up on this. You know what I mean? I might have been hard on this guy in this area.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Now I understand what you're saying. Damn, I'm so perfect in a relationship. I really gotta think.
Next week, join us on Cherise and Company's.
This is great.
I try my best to be the best.
I get you. So is everybody else. All right, next up, Cherise.
You niggas are crazy, man. You niggas are really oh my God, you guys are fucking out of your minds. You're out of your mind.
Listen, she perfect.
You're out of your fucking mind, bro.
That's what we deal with.
I don't even know y'all.
The fuck.
I don't fucking know y'all. Y'all just can't help yourselves on here.
Says the man with no sleeves. But anyway.
hey Jack, but that's very interesting because you know what I mean, it was just a transparency time for us to try to come up with some solutions that can make us better and moving in the future. Yeah. But if you perfect, then you got it. That's all. We just was trying to get some clarity.
She ain't saying what you wanted to say. That's why you
didn't say nothing.
No, she's perfect.
But listen, y'all feel some type of way because she's not saying what y'all feel like she should say. Instead of hold up. Instead of respecting what she said, just like she respect what y'all said, she ain't saying no, this and that. Y'all getting all bent out of shape and everything else instead of just respecting what April said. She's being transparent. That's how she feels. So you should accept it. She accept what Jamal said. She accept what Jack said. So move it on. Move it on.
Say nothing.
No, I'm talking about when y'all were talking.
Go ahead.
When you were talking. Y'all don't got no respect. Y'all getting all bent out of shape.
She's perfect. Perfect. I get it.
Move it on.
We on. All right, Sheree, how you answer the question? We love you, April. Hey, April, we love you. We know you perfect, April. Ain't nobody.
I'm so flawed, and I tell y'all I'm flawed.
Go ahead, Sheree.
You know I'm still working on me.
For sure. We just wanted to share. Hold on. This exercise was really for us because this has been a really good dialogue. Just us sharing how we feel. Well, it was just something to, you know what I mean. It's something to kind of give to the people so we all can kind of be transparent, open, and maybe somebody else in the audience could could feel where you're coming from. What's up now? I got the juice. You can kind of feel where you're coming from. That's all. We just kind of tapping in. That's all. It ain't. To try to look like they wrong. You know what I mean? All right, go ahead. Give us a little something. How you feel about that? What's something? You know what I mean?
Probably let my
guard
down a little bit.
Okay, in terms of what?
I guess past situations, not being so like uptight or like more understanding, moving on from past situations and being more open-minded and not necessarily like carrying over past situations, just more so like handling it like the past is the past. When you move on, you're supposed to move on with it. But some people, for me, I don't sometimes. I linger, I hold on because of just you be afraid of it happening again. So just letting my guard down a little more.
Got you. That's real. You know what I mean? Jax, talk to us.
You just need an infinite amount of money, man.
Damn.
You need an infinite
amount. That's not a good enough answer because you single and
no.
We need to do something better.
Let's respect this man's answer. Let's respect this man's answer.
All right, let me not say infinite, but I just need a whole lot of money because I think a lot of women just kind of like base what a man is worth on what he can provide for them, about what he can afford, what he can buy, what he can take care of that now she no longer has to worry about. And I think that it's unfortunate, and I honestly don't really subscribe to the idea that money makes a man, but like the world, the environment that we're living in, like I think a lot of women just kind of like really believe that, and I think that
He said, "Jesus, no, Jack."
and I'm being honest. I don't even believe it, but for this particular question, I think that would do a lot.
Just go wash up. I'll get you some.
And also, I think that like the less, it all just kind of boils down to like the less work a woman has to do, like the happier she's gonna be. So like the more load you could take off a woman's shoulders, whether it be financially, whether it be physical labor, whether it be something that she has to worry about, like all of the type of support that women say are important is basically decreasing her workload. So like that's the amount of effort that a woman got to put in, the happier that she gonna be. So, but and like whatever, bro. Like I really don't fuck with none of it. But my answer for this particular question, because that's the only thing that's gonna make women feel like they can depend on a nigga if a nigga could do everything.
I don't agree with that.
Nobody say it.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's
I'm
his
just letting
perspective.
you know,
That's
Jack,
how he
that's
feels.
not true, honey.
I mean,
All right.
That's not true.
All right.
okay.
That's
That's his perspective, so we're gonna respect that.
Ain't all about the queen.
All right. So listen. So listen. Here's the thing too, and I seen one of the comments that says my man is wealthy and buys all types of expensive shit that I don't want, but I want simple things like walks and candy. You know what I mean? And that's cool that you have that as an option. But if all that nigga had was walks and candy, I mean, it would be a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just being real. So you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, certain things are taken care of it, and you comfortable in certain areas. But if all he had was long walks and candy, then you know what I mean, it would be a different dynamic. So definitely appreciate the fact that you have a man that, you know what I mean, that can provide, because you know what I'm saying, that's a part of life.
I lights on, then walk under the lights outside.
Under the lights.
He always
No, I mean, you know, we still got. I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying. It's not just about the money. No. I see what she's saying, but but what Jackson's saying is like, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, having you know, being able to have the means to provide is going to balance that house. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're gonna have to have, you know, other things that come to the table and all of that. But you know, that definitely does. That's a big ass help.
And I'm not saying that this is the only thing that I need, because my question is like, what more can I do, right? So I would still be the same person. I would still have the same mentalities. I would still have the same values, the same morals. But the thing that I don't have right now that I feel like is a big hurdle is I don't have a lot of bread. So that's the thing I think that would get me over the hump.
I don't think so.
But
it depends on the type of woman that you're seeking. If you feel like you need a certain amount of bread, it's because of the caliber of woman that you're seeking.
I disagree with that, just because you might need a certain amount of money to get a certain type of woman, but you're still going to need a certain amount of money to have any woman, and have that woman still just like being her feminine, right? Like not have to put her masculine mask on like we was talking about earlier, because now she doesn't feel like she has to go out and produce because she believes in the amount of things that I'm able to produce. That don't got nothing to do with the caliber of woman. Right?
I'm seeking a bad bitch.
Personally, I don't. The ironic thing is, whenever I do really get money, I'm gonna resent women because I know they're not gonna fuck with me because of who I am. So like, it's really.
Now look at you. Now you're being a hypocrite, because you just said when women get money, they change and they act different. That's what you're doing. No, change. You said that you know that when you get money,
How
you're
is-
probably going to resent.
How am
women.
I?
But that's what you said. So what my ears are capturing is that you're holding resentment against women because they didn't choose you when you were broke. So then when you get ahead, then you'll have resentment against them women. That's what my ears are hearing.
You gotta go to an ENT.
Oh, I'm not going to no doctor. I can repeat what you just said.
You did say
To make
that.
some sense of it all.
You did.
He did
You
say
said
that. Yeah.
The comment said you said it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't be looking at no comments.
Yes,
Ain't nobody
we
looking at
are.
no comments. We know y'all got a pink wall of silence. You know what I mean? Y'all like the police. Y'all going back anything that another officer says.
Okay.
So
Reese, here comes the
There we
woman
go.
cop. Anytime a woman say
Yeah.
something, come out with his nightstick.
He can't help it. It's horrible, child. It's horrible.
Actuality though, like a lot of this conversation about women having to be independent is really based around finances though. It really is. You know what I'm saying? Even when y'all was talking about back in the day, women couldn't work. You had to depend on the husband. The husband was cheating.
But it's really not that though, Jakes. It's not just about finances because that's the issue with us in our relationships nowadays. We losing the love and the basic of a relationship, the caring, the loving, the building the trust and everything else like that. You think money is gonna give somebody trust in you? You think that money is gonna get somebody to love you for real? Hell no, they don't love you. They love your money.
But that don't have nothing. I know, like
the independent term is me taking care of my own needs because I don't have someone else to help me with them. That's why I'm independent. I'm alone. I'm single.
It's not just money. It's not just money.
I didn't ask.
Emotional.
I said, what are the needs?
Say
That's
it
all.
again?
I didn't say anything.
Oh no. As human beings, we have emotional
physical
needs. We have mental needs. You know, things like that.
Right.
So how do you because nobody,
and the money don't get that.
So how do you independently, proudly independently take care of your emotional and physical needs? How does that work?
For me, I vacation. I go to the spa.
We pull out
a phone call.
The rose. Say.
We go in the drawer. Not me.
Not the drawer.
You know, I've heard.
So now I don't understand. Now I don't understand.
Cracking up.
To meet a guy who can meet your emotional needs and your physical needs, but not necessarily the financial needs. Like, so why would?
Oh, he has to meet my financial needs because he has to be able to do the shit that I do.
She said, "Rose for the win."
Just saying.
She said, "Rose for the win."
They like,
listen, this don't have nothing to do with a certain tax bracket. Any adult need to be trying to get at the bank.
But that's not the main
focus
alone. Is what we're saying. It's not the main focus. It's really not.
All right, so listen, gang. Let's give our closing statements. You know what I mean? So we can, we can kind of rally it together. That could be the next topic. You know what I mean? What do women? You know what I mean? What do women really want? What's important in a relationship? That's gonna be our next topic. You know what I mean? If you had to pick one or whatever the case may be, which one would it be? But anyway, final. 2.5. 2.5.
That's gonna be some bullshit that Jesus Christ can't fucking make happen, nigga.
Closing statements, Jack. You start us off, April. You follow up.
Some money, and then just watch how all the dick sucks roll in, my nigga.
But
got you. Words of a wise man, April.
Ciao. Fellas, if you want to get more dick sucks, don't listen to him.
Why is this turning to the dick suck lie?
But going back to my final statement, men, don't be intimidated by an independent woman. She's independent because she has to be independent. If you're doing your thing as a man and you're providing safety and consistency, You're going to get the
Can I
best
get another?
version of her. That's all I have to say.
All right.
I'm crying.
Closing statement. And closing statement on my end is men are not intimidated by women's independence. In fact, you know what I mean? It's admirable to see a woman that's setting her goals and that's making her moves, accomplishing goals and things like that. That's very attractive. What's unattractive is when is women that don't know how to be cooperative in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? When women are defensive or, you know what I mean, pushing back in a relationship and don't know how to play their part with a partner because they've been independent so long. You know what I mean? So we love the independence, but we don't love the lack of cooperation and partnership when it's time to come together. So that's just my closing statement. Sheree?
Oh yeah. My closing statement is we got to get back to the basics in relationships and get off of the money thing, not listening, not taking order, not being submissive. Like, we're all not doing things for a reason. Every action calls a reaction. And I think we forget about that. We always tend to say, oh, what she not doing or what he not doing, but we are not addressing every action that's causing the reaction. And I think we need to just sit back and, talk about these things. Like, why are you acting this way? Or why are you being this way? Because nobody is just waking up out there sleep every single day to just not be submissive or not be feminine or not be masculine. We're not waking up like that. So we need to just check ourselves. Okay. But I appreciate you guys all coming on here tonight. If you missed this and just tuned in, this will be on our YouTube channel. Please make sure that y'all go on our YouTube channel, like, comment, and subscribe. Like all 40,
y'all gotta run this one back.
I think we might be at like 43 episodes are on our YouTube channel. I totally appreciate y'all coming on every week, 8:00. Listen, if anything y'all want to talk about, all y'all gotta do is answer the poll. I mean, damn. Put your comment in there what you want to talk about. Like, I go off of whatever anybody want to talk about. I don't pick none of these topics. They all come from everybody that's tuning in every week. If there's anything that you want to talk about, let me know. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all next Wednesday, 8:00, same time, same spot, same road.
All right.
Sorry,
Jen.